All right, we are on the record. This is the Montesano Municipal Court, December 28th. And we have both our arraignment and pretrial dockets today. I do know that there is one arraignment that is ready to go. I have paperwork in front of me, and that would be City versus Matthew Blumenfeld. And you are Matthew Blumenfeld?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You are charged in this court and here for arraignment today. The charge against you is hit and run of an unattended vehicle. That is a gross misdemeanor offense. It carries a maximum penalty of 364 days in jail and a maximum fine of $5,000. You do have rights in this court that were explained to you on your arraignment form. You have a right to an attorney if you can't afford one. You can be considered for the appointment of a public defender. You have a right to a speedy and timely trial. You're presumed innocent until proven guilty. If your case went to trial, you have a right to hear and question the witnesses who would testify against you, and also have witnesses testify in your defense. Any conviction at trial is appealable to our superior court here in Grays Harbor County. Do you understand the charge against you and the rights you have?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. What is your plea today? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
A plea of not guilty is entered, and I looked at your application for a court-appointed attorney, and it shows you're employed. Are you currently working right now?
I am employed, but I haven't been working since about the middle of November. I got COVID, and then immediately after that, I developed pneumonia, and then I worked for about a week, and then holidays came up, and then I got into a car accident, and haven't been able to work due to the injuries. And I'm not anticipated to go back for another week, maybe 2 weeks, Your Honor.
Okay. And it looks like your spouse is also employed and brings roughly around 500 a month or a week home. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
At this time, I'm going to find that you are eligible. However, based on the dual income that I'm seeing here, I understand that you're not currently working. But I will appoint our city public defender to represent you, but I'm going to require that you contribute $800 to your defense. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And so your attorney is present today. You won't have an opportunity to talk with him today, but he'll receive the information about your case. Your next case setting will be a pretrial conference that will occur at the end of January of next year. And we'll need you to sign for your next court date, and also make sure we have a good contact number to provide your attorney with.
Yes, Your Honor.
And if that's the number I saw on your arraignment form, that should be good enough, and we'll give it to him. So, do you have any questions of the court today?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. As far as your release conditions, you're released on your personal recognizance. You're not to have any criminal driving offenses while this matter's pending, or alcohol-related infractions. And again, you can sign for your court date. You're free to leave, and thanks for appearing today.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Is there anyone else present, Madam Clerk?
Destiny McKinney is present in the courtroom.
All right, and that looks like a case Mr. Duncason is appointed to. Will Destiny McKinney please step forward? And you are Destiny McKinney?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we're here today for your pretrial conference. Present over Zoom is the city attorney, Mr. Rhodes, and also your attorney, Mr. Duncanson. And from here, I'll let the parties describe how the case is proceeding.
Yes, so we have a resolution in this case. I had forwarded a signed SOC to Mr. Rhodes and and Madam Clerk. However, it appears that Your Honor is appearing remotely, not from the city offices. So I've also just forwarded it to you.
Okay. Well,
But it's a standard SOC, 12 months, $150 fines. If she complies, the charge is dismissed. The one weird thing in it is she's currently in WISE counseling through Willapa Behavioral Health, and there's just a provision in there that she maintains that counseling, continues to take her prescribed medication, and then sign releases so Willapa can send the court periodic updates.
okay. So, Ms. McKinney, I'm looking at the document that you've gone over with your attorney. Did you have a chance to read and have this document explained to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So there are a couple important things in this document. You are stipulating to the police reports, and if you fail to meet the conditions of this agreement, your case could be recalled, this agreement revoked, and there would be a trial based on your reports alone. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And if convicted of this crime, you'd be facing a maximum fine of $1,000 and a maximum penalty of 90 days in custody. Let's see. And if you meet all the conditions, your case will be dismissed with prejudice. So that's a good thing. And it looks as though the parties have agreed to a 12-month continuance. You're not going to have any criminal violations of the law, no alcohol-related infractions. And you're going to pay to the court $150 in administrative fees. And if you need to set up a payment plan with the court, you can. And it looks like the important part of this document, you also agree to continue to maintain counseling through Willapa Behavioral Health, take any prescribed medication, and sign any releases of information that the court may need you to sign so your treatment provider can get documentation to the court. That's your understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I find that this agreement is in the interest of justice. Considering the facts of the case, I think it's a good resolution, and your attorney's done a good job for you. So you'll want to make sure you thank him. That concludes your case today. On your way out, please check in with the clerk, and you can get on a payment plan if you need to do that, or just simply make a one-time payment arrangement with the clerk as well.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, and that concludes your case today. Thank you. Do we have anyone else present, Madam Clerk?
We do not, Your Honor.
Do we have anyone appearing by Zoom today that's in the waiting room?
We do.
And who would that be?
Calvin Akina, number 1 on page 3.
All right, let's bring Mr. Is it Akina or Akana, Mr. Duncanson?
I've been pronouncing it Akana.
Akana? Okay.
I could also be wrong. It's also very likely.
All right, it looks like your audio is connected and the court's calling for Calvin Akana. Am I pronouncing your last name right, sir? You'll need to unmute your device there.
There, can you hear me now, sir?
We can. And so with us in court today, we have your attorney and the city attorney both appearing by Zoom today, as well as yourself. And Mr. Duncanson, how are we proceeding today?
Yeah, I was just going to request a 1-month continuance on this case. I just received the discovery yesterday afternoon and have only had a brief opportunity to speak with Mr. Akana and Mr. Rhodes about it. So,
Okay. So you have been in touch with your client then?
Yep. He's had really good contact with me. So,
All right, Mr. Rhodes, any objection to the continuance? It sounds reasonable.
No objection, Your Honor. Matter is early, and Mr. Duncanson and I have not had an opportunity to truly discuss it yet.
Okay. Well, Mr. Akana, we're going to set your case over into the new year, near the end of the month in January. So we will send you notice of your court hearing and also login information for Zoom if you choose to use that again.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. That concludes your case today. You've received any notices the court has sent to you, so you're getting those, correct?
I haven't received any notices in the mail.
Okay. Later today or tomorrow, perhaps you might contact your attorney and make sure he has a good mailing address so he can get that to the court. And with that said, you're free to log off. That concludes your case today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, do the parties have any other matters? Oh, here's Mr. Smith coming on. All right, the court calls for Calvin Smith. We brought Mr. Smith in from our waiting room. Mr. Smith, if you have a camera on your device, please turn that on, and it looks like you've unmuted yourself. Here in the courtroom today is your attorney, Mr. Duncanson, as well as the city attorney, Mr. Rhodes. Are you able to hear everything, Mr. Smith?
Yes, Your Honor.
Terrific. Mr. Duncanson, how are we proceeding today?
yeah, so we have a resolution in this. The city has agreed to amend the driving while license suspended to a no valid operator's license, dismiss the trip permit, and then I believe Mr. Smith will be answering committed to the two trailing infractions.
And Mr. Rhodes, do you have a motion?
Yeah, the city so moves to amend the charge to no valid operator's license with identification
Okay.
and to dismiss the charge identified by Mr. Duncanson.
Okay, is there an agreed upon fine on the amended infraction?
I'm
Standard 250.
Okay. Mr. Smith, do you understand what's going on here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to grant the city's motion to amend the criminal violation of driving suspended third degree to the infraction of no valid operator's license with identification. Do you plead committed to that amended infraction?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I will assess a fine of $250. The trip permit violation is dismissed. And what do you have to tell me about insurance? Do you have insurance now?
Not yet. I'm still working on getting my license, but they have to do it on a certain day because they only release it once a month from the collection agency or whatever.
Okay.
So that's what I'm working on right now.
Well, I'll go ahead and amend the fine on the no insurance violation down to $200. And Mr. Rhodes, what's normally the bail amount on the violation of license restriction?
Your Honor, I'm not sure. I can look that up for the court.
I'll tell you what, I'll just lower it to the minimal amount of $113. And so
139 was the cited infraction.
Okay, so I will lower that amount, Mr. Smith, from 139 to 113. And so these fines, you'll need to make contact with the court clerk. And if you need a payment plan set up, she can do that for you or provide additional payment instructions. All right?
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
And tomorrow would probably be a good time because we're in court today and she'll be busy after court.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. That concludes your case today and you can log off.
All right. Thanks, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Brandy Beer.
For Brandy, I didn't see her on the docket, but she indicated that she had called Madam Clerk and was told there was a court date. I assume she's probably actually just on to quash a warrant, really.
Okay. Madam Clerk, does this just come on for a warrant quash?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, we're going to take the case of Brandy Bierbauer. Miss Bierbauer, if you can turn your microphone on. Bierbauer, can you give us some indication that you can hear the court? It's very dark on your screen and it's hard to tell if. Okay, if you can hear us, just give us a thumbs up. All right. Well, we have Brandy Bierbauer here to quash a warrant. I'm going to go ahead and grant that request.
Thank you.
Send a notice of your next court hearing at the end of next month. So January 2022, you'll receive, there we go. Now it looks like your microphone's off.
Okay.
So did you hear everything I said?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, terrific. So we'll get the order to quash the warrant to the authorities. That may take a day or two to process. But it will be done, and stay in touch with your attorney. We will see you at the end of next month.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
The court date is January 25th.
January 25th.
Okay. What time?
Same time, we'll begin at 12:45, 1 o'clock.
Okay.
All right,
All right. Thank
thank
you.
you. You can log off.
Okay. I don't even know how to log off.
All right, we brought Sarah Weber into our virtual courtroom. Miss Weber, if you have a camera that works, if you can turn that on and also turn on your microphone.
Did you say turn on the microphone? Because I have a crying baby.
Okay, we'll try to make this as quick as possible. So city versus Sarah Weber, your attorney, Mr. Duncanson, is here, as well as the city attorney, Mr. Rhodes. Mr. Duncanson, how are the parties moving forward today?
Yes, I was just going to request a continuance. I spoke to Ms. Weber earlier and Mr. Rhodes yesterday. We might have a resolution in this case come next court date.
Okay. Well, Ms. Weber, we're going to move your pretrial conference into the month of January on the 25th of next month. We'll send you notice in the mail In the meantime, stay in touch with your attorney. It sounds like he's working towards getting your cases resolved.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes your hearing today, and we will see you back next month.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. And do we have anyone else in the court?
There's no one else present at this time, Your Honor.
All right, and that concludes our waiting room in Zoom.
It does.
Okay. Mr. Rhodes, I understand that there's an infraction that has been resolved.
That's correct, Your Honor, and do not anticipate an appearance from counsel. That matter is number 2 on the contested docket, Mr. Leffelman. There should be an order presented to the court.
Okay, and is that being amended to expired tabs?
Yes, with a over 2 months and a $231 stipulated penalty.
Okay, I'm going to authorize my clerk to use my signature stamp. I'm going to grant that order, impose a fine of $230, and we will get that off to counsel for the defendant in this case, Mr. Leffelman.
Your Honor, I can also address number 1 on the contested docket regarding Ms. Blauvelt.
I see that's been agreed to continue into February.
That's correct, Your Honor, by stipulation of the parties.
Okay. Case is continued to February 22nd. Mr. Rhodes, do you have any pro se matters that you've had an opportunity to speak with?
I don't. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Dunkeson, anything out of the ordinary that you want to call or advise the court of?
Yes, a couple things. First with Mavis Stinnett.
All right, the court call City versus Mavis Stinnett comes on for pretrial.
Yes, I've been in contact with her and her daughter. Mavis has been going through some significant health problems and has fallen a few times.
Okay.
Kind of been in and out of the hospital. I believe me and Mr. Rhodes kind of have a weird, uninformal or informal agreement. So I would just ask maybe we can note her FTA and set it out 2 months.
Okay. We will note her failure to appear for the record. We will set this on our February 22nd docket.
And then Matthew Trepanier.
Can you spell the last name for me?
It's just on the next page after
Okay.
Mavis. It's for Prepannier.
Okay. The court calls for Matthew Trepanier.
Yeah. He called me right before court that he couldn't get his vehicle unstuck. So we do have a resolution in that one. We just resolved a similar case for him over in McCleary, and we're basically going to enter the same agreement there. So I would just ask, note his FTA, set it for January.
All right. We will note the defendant's failure to appear for the record, and we will continue this over to January 25th. Anyone else, Mr. Dunkeson?
Then the last one that I have information on would be Christopher Wang.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Mr. Rhodes just filed some motions to revoke on those cases. I see it's just on for diversion compliance. I talked to Mr. Rhodes again today, and I think our plan is just to kind of continue everything till next month so we can get all the documents we need.
All right, we'll go ahead and set this case over, note defendant's failure to appear, and with the petition to revoke just filed, I think that's a reasonable request. That Raymond on the petition to revoke will come on next month, January 25th. And is that it for you, Mr. Dickinson?
Then I have Daniel Golke on it too. He's going to be appearing by Zoom, or he might be in person at too. And then there's a motion to modify the no contact order in that case as well. Also on for 2. So,
Is there anything the court needs to review? I've already reviewed the motion to modify. Is there any additional documentation?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Well, I'll just start going through the docket. We've got Harold Haney on for arraignment. Understanding the driving conditions the way they are, we will reset to next month. That includes Mr. Miller's arraignment. And
Mr. Miller's actually just filling out his arraignment form.
oh, he is. Okay, then we'll recall that case. City versus Aaron Palmer. That's a case Mr. Duncanson is assigned to. Mr. Duncanson, are you there?
Sorry, who?
Aaron Palmer.
I have nothing to report on that one.
All right. January is probably going to be a big docket. We will reset that matter. Next case is City versus Tina Ship. That comes on for arraignment. We'll go ahead and reset that case. I understand Cameron Combs is not present today. Madam Clerk, refresh my memory. Did this person make contact with the court, or was it just Mr. Sariano's office?
It was just Mr. Soriano's office.
Okay. Let's reset that for a pretrial and appointment of counsel. Next, we have City versus Jesus Pacheco. Mr. Duncanson, this is also one of yours. Have you been in any sort of contact with this person?
Yes, he recently just got out of treatment, so I don't think he actually has a phone yet, but he's stopped by my office a couple times in the last week and just has had really poor timing.
All right, then we'll set this over to January 25th as well. You have a pro se matter, City versus Johnny Herrera. Mr. Rhodes, you've had no contact with Mr. Herrera?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. We'll set that matter over to January 25th. And we're a little early, but there is a mitigation for Samantha Shapansky at 1:40. And so looks like everything else we're a little early for. So the court will take a short recess, and I'll plan to be back on at 1:45.